Hey folks, Randy here with Doing Cut and Trim. So I consider myself to be a pretty tech savvy person, and I've tried to record this video legit like 5 times now, and every time it goes wrong, something doesn't get recorded, whatever. So we're going to shoot for number 6 now. So I wanted to show you how I use Service Autopilot to track things in my business. I use it for everything from tracking drive time, the amount of time spent on a property versus how much time I thought I was going to spend on that property, before and after pictures, service to equipment, making sure everything's good to go, letting my office manager know if there's things we need to buy. I use Service Autopilot to do all this stuff, and I want, but more specifically, I use the mobile app. And so I wanted to take this time to actually show you how that works, how I use it. There's a lot of stuff in Service Autopilot that is extremely customizable, and it just takes a lot of work. And so I want to take this opportunity to show you how to do that, and then we will go from there. Okay, so the first thing you do in the morning is you click on the Service Autopilot app. I've already logged in. Normally you'd have to put your username and password in, and the first thing that you're going to do is clock in. So you go to clock in, and that, for me, I've set it up this way, brings up a form, start of the day checklist. So you go through it, tires look full, yeah, no visible damage to truck, gate properly latched, yeah. If you noticed any problems, you could type it into the truck issues note. Then make sure everything's secured to the truck. Make sure you got all your consumables and all your PPE. I'm going to add notes in here underneath consumables, and actually underneath consumables and PPE, where if I'm running low on trim line or mix or whatever, I can just type it in there and an email will get sent to the office. So I hit save, and when I hit save, you'll see it on my phone here in a second. That actually is going to send me an email letting me which eventually is going to go to the office manager, letting them know what's going on. So there you go, clock in, checklist results for 2/26/2019. So now that we're logged in for the day, clocked in, we see our first job of the day is going to be for Randy Doolin Test at 123 Wherever Drive, Who Knows Township, Maryland. I see that it's lawn maintenance, and you see in the parentheses it says 20 minutes. That's how much time we've budgeted for this job. So we're going to head that way, so we'll hit the drive button, and this is how we track how much time we spend behind the windshield. This allows me to then go back into reports and Service Autopilot and figure out, if I'm spending too much time on the road for a certain yard. Like, I might have a yard that, it's $35 and only takes me 10 minutes, but if it's a 20-minute drive to and from to get to the next yards, then that's 50 minutes for a $35 cut. It's not worth it. So it helps me track all those things. So when I get to the property, I hit stop drive, and then I hit start lawn. And if the customer has any notes for me, they'll pop up. So we let the customers know, is there anything special we need to know about your yard? And this customer left a note that they want us to see every time we come in. It says, don't break stuff, bro. So we check mark that we will not break stuff, that we acknowledge that we got that note. And now you see we need to take a before picture for the yard. So we hit OK, and we'll just take a nice picture of you. Use that photo. Excuse me, we don't want to take any more pictures. And now we're clocked into the job. And while we're here, you'll see there's an EST, 19 minutes. That's how much time we have left to get this job done. So I'm not going to show you this because this would take forever, but it got ETR, estimated time remaining. If this job ended up taking like 25 minutes, there would be like a +6 there. But I believe it would be in red. I don't remember. So we'd go about our deal. If something happened, we would type that. We would click on comments, type it, and be like, something broke or whatever. And then we would use that camera icon and take a picture of the damage. So that way, when this job is clocked out, all that information would immediately go into that customer's profile, and we'd be able to pull it up from any time, anywhere, as long as we had access to a computer. So we go through, do our work. Once the job's done, we hit stop job. It's clocked in with other jobs. I don't know what other jobs would be clocked in, but okay. So we'll say yes, clocked in, clock out, Is the job complete? We'll say yes, and that's going to trigger us to take the after picture. So we take another picture, and here's another beautiful picture of you. Use that photo. No more pictures. And that brings up the lawn mowing complete checklist. So is service complete? Yes. Is gate closed if applicable? Yes. And this is more of a reminder for me because I sometimes leave gates open, you know. And if there was property damage, we want to say yes and then type in the notes. So if there was property damage, I would say yes, and then I would go into the notes. And then we hit save. Do we want to view the invoice? We could. If I wanted to charge the credit card, we could view the invoice. Like, well, let's just say the customer gave me cash or whatever. So we would say yes, and that would bring up this invoice page. And we could either email the customer their invoice if it was that kind of deal, or if we could enter payment. So if we entered payment, we would be able to select payment type of cash, check, or other. Or we could even enter their credit card if we wanted to. That in my experience, that's never worked well. I use BluePay. I think they're called CardPoint now. That's never really worked well for me. So, but you could do that. So I don't want to enter any false payments into my system. So we'll hit save. And now we're done. And so now you can see there's no remaining jobs found on February 26th. So then we go back in and hit sync everything. Yeah, I'm sure. And that'll sync everything into the system. And so it'll all be there. So, you know, the office manager could look at it right now and they'd be able to see that everything's been synced. Let's go ahead and end this recording. Okay. Looks like it was actually successful this time. So that's how we use Service Autopilot. And you know, it's the more information you have, just the better things are. I mean, because of that system, you know, I can see how much time I'm spending on a yard as opposed to how much time I want to be spending on a yard. I can see how much time I'm spending behind the windshield. There's some GPS tracking features in there apparently that I don't use, but apparently they're there. It's just a very, very valuable tool. And then everything's triggered, you know, with I used to not do before and after pictures, but you know, a couple times the customers get a little weird, and so Service Autopilot makes it very easy. I can't even start a job unless I take a picture, and then it reminds me to take a picture once I'm done. And all that gets uploaded to Service Autopilot. So if a customer ever says, "Hey Randy, you guys didn't mow my yard on Tuesday," I can go into Service Autopilot, pull up their service from that day, and I can say, we arrived at 9:15 a.m. We left at 9:32 a.m. We have a before picture that was taken at 9:15. We have an after picture that was taken at 9:32, and everything's working perfectly. I mean, I got distracted because the neighbor drove by. But you know, it makes everything. I've never had an issue with a customer saying we didn't do a property, because we have all that information. And then, you know, if they need even more proof, I'm able to provide GPS proof that we were there. And so that always squashes the problem right there. And then you add in, you know, the fact that we've got the before and after pictures now, it just makes things that much better. So I just wanted to show you that's how I use Service Autopilot to track things in my business. I hope this video is helpful to you. You know, it's been pretty invaluable to us doing, you know, this process. So just wanted to pass the info on. I hope it's helpful. This is Randy with Dual and Cut and Trim. Have a good one.